distinguished gentleman from Vermont is recognized. Excuse me, you would think I could read. The gentlewoman, Ms. Stansbury from New Mexico.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and
How you doing?
thank you also to our ranking member. And I want to just start this afternoon by thanking you especially for the tone you set in this subcommittee hearing of bipartisanship, of collaboration, and of true oversight. That is truly in the spirit of why we are here, and I really appreciate it.
And I thank the gentleman, and I hope that you will expect the same from Mr. Conley, Mr. Mafume, and myself, because we intend to deliver that on behalf of the American people, and I thank the gentlewoman for recognizing that.
Thank you. I'm proud and excited to be able to serve on this subcommittee. I'm a former federal employee myself. I worked at the Office of Management and Budget, and I was a program examiner there, and so I know very well the work of our OIGs and the critical work that you do to investigate waste, fraud, and abuse in our agencies, make sure that individuals who are conducting their affairs in a way that is not congruent with the oaths that we take are held accountable, and that ultimately this body, Congress, is able to take action in order to have accountability, as well as our court systems. I know today we're here to talk about pandemic relief. I did want to follow on one of the comments that you made, Mr. Turner, about the perfect storm that happened at the beginning of the pandemic. I was serving in the New Mexico State House at the time, and I really appreciate the way you characterized the situation, because I think for folks who weren't sort of in the trenches trying to implement these programs, it's hard for folks to understand. In my district alone, we had thousands and thousands of people who suddenly were home. They had no way to earn income. They had rent or their mortgages coming up. They had no way to get groceries. And in my communities that I represent, which are predominantly low income and many folks who are on fixed incomes, Medicaid, Medicare, and of course other programs, it was an incredibly difficult time. And what I saw on the front lines of our state agencies is that they just were not prepared. They didn't have the infrastructure. They didn't even have the IT infrastructure to handle the volume of phone calls and emails that they were getting, more or less the ability to serve all of the needs. And I think we also saw this at the federal level with the SBA. When I took office in the summer of 2021, we had a number of our constituent cases that involved individuals whose SBA loans had been stolen through passwords through the system. So I think we all know that it was an incredibly difficult time. Our feds, our state entities really rallied and did their best. And I want to thank those of you who were serving at that time. I know it was a really difficult time. I know that the main focus of this hearing is really on oversight of the pandemic programs themselves, but since we're here and this is our first hearing, I'd love to just do a quick lightning round with my remaining 2 minutes from each of you to just hear from you generally what tools and resources would help you do your jobs better as inspectors generals, and how can Congress actually help? And we'll start with Mr. Turner and then rapidly go down the line.
I think direct access to data would help us. It would allow us to get to issues faster. Had we had direct access, we wouldn't have had to wait 9 months to find the problems that were going on with PUA. I also think modernization, as you mentioned, there's a lot of antiquated systems, and it's a game changer to have IT that is really modern. It doesn't take, as you know, long for IT systems to be antiquated, and to go 10 years or 15 years is quite a while.
Absolutely. And Mr. Delmar?
Data access, certainly. IT modernization, certainly. One thing I would say is we found that the no-year and multi-year funds that we got to do our work with respect to the CRF and a couple of other programs were very helpful, and I think that would be a good idea to be able to focus over the length of the program funds devoted to enabling the oversight.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Shoemaker?
We've received $25 million in the CARES Act and $25 million in ARPA as supplemental funds, know your money. Those funds will be exhausted by the 24. We have approximately 185 dedicated men and women working for us. The President's put forward the budget for our base in fiscal year '24 that would allow us to sustain that as a permanent resource. SBA as an agency is forever changed, so we need to match that with our oversight. And the systemic weaknesses that SBA experienced on a day-to-day basis, the strain that it was under, we believe that we can provide, a lot of oversight to drive corrective action.
That is extremely helpful. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you to your staffs who are sitting behind you for serving the American people. We appreciate you.